welcome to Talking Raintown, guys. Thanks for being here. Appreciate all you guys. Today we're going to talk about the Rule of 72. Who knows anything about the Rule of 72? Haley, what you got there?
So I'll need a little refresher, but from what I remember, the Rule of 72 is in increments of 12 years, and what you're now.
You're not right.
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Who knows about the Rule of 72?
Rule 72 is a mathematical equation that Albert Einstein discovered, and it's basically you divide your gaining interest by the amount of 72, which gives you about 12 years if it's 6% per year, which is about what the market of Seattle increases by.
They're going pretty far on that one. This is just about the Rule of 72, but that's right. So Rule of 72 is a mathematical formula, right? You basically say 72. You take 72 and you divide it by your rate of return, right? It's going to tell you how often your money is going to double, right? So what is the average appreciation in the Seattle market?
6%.
6%. 72 divided by 6 equals?
12.
12. That's exactly right. So that means about every 12 years, whatever you're trying to value here, if it's a house or whatever, it should double in 12 years. Does it work with 401k plans? Yes. Does it work with everything else? Yes. With gold? Certainly does. It's just a good, simple way to figure out how often your money is going to double. So real question is how does this work in real estate? How does this work in real estate, and how can it help people be able to get to where they want to be in a certain time frame? So have any of you ever used the Rule of 72 in real estate? Have you ever talked to one of your clients about it? If not, please lie to me and say you have.
All the time.
We talk to them all the time.
All the time? All right.
Yes.
Right. Have you ever had someone who said that they wanted to retire, but they were afraid they're not going to have enough money, so they were going to have to buy something small and retire in something small? Ever had that? Right? Have you ever thought that in your own mind? Right? So let's talk about how this is going to work. Now, it's important for us to understand, all you guys that are watching this video, that our numbers are not going to be perfect. It's because, first of all, appreciation isn't perfect. It's also because we can't take everything into an account. We just can't take everything into account, right? There's going to be some taxes. You're going to have to fix some things. There's going to be some other expenses along the way of owning more than one home. But what we're going to do is we're kind of going to work in a perfect world. I think there's no expenses. And we're also not going to count the fact that appreciation also works for rent, right? We're just going to keep the rent pretty much the same. When you start paying rent, it's going to stay the same. We're not going to say every 12 years it doubles. But we can take a look at that. All right, so we're going to buy a home. Who here wants to buy a home? Someone? Greg's the only one who doesn't want to buy a home?
Sure.
You're too late. Andy, you want to buy a home?
Yes, sir.
All right, what are you going to buy?
I'm going to buy a single-family home on Capitol Hill.
Capitol Hill. How much does it cost?
I'm going to say 1.5.
Okay, keep your numbers easy because somebody have to get out their calculators.
Okay.
$1.5 million.
Yep.
All right, how much are you going to put down on this?
20%.
20%? You're going to put 20% down. Okay. 20% down. So what does that equal? $30,000 down, you're going to owe 1.2, right?
Yeah, put down 300,000. Yeah.
$1.2 million.
Yep.
Right. Payment's going to be whatever.
That's about $7,500 a month, I think.
Yeah, let's just say $8K a month. $8K a month, right? When are you going to pay this off?
You say when?
How long is it going to take you to pay it off?
Well, hopefully not 30 years. Let's go 20.
How are you going to do that?
Put more down every month towards my principal.
You're going to just keep on making more and more payments?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a 30-year loan. 30 years. But what you're going to do is, what are you going to sacrifice to be able to get that extra money? How much more money you have to put in every month's payment to be able to pay it off in 2/3 of the time, you know?
It's probably something like $2,000 to $3,000 a month.
Probably $2,000 to $3,000 a month. So really your payment's going to be more like, let's just say 10 to 11K a month, right? Equals 20 years. And I don't have my financial calculator, so I don't know that exactly, but it's probably somewhere around there. Everyone agree?
Yes.
Now here's a question. Is there any way that we can pay this off faster without having to make this extra payment? using the rule of 72, right? Let's talk about that. Keep this in mind, everybody. Keep this in mind. You guys have this in your head. Now we're going to take the same home and take something simpler. We're going to take a home, just because the math's going to be easier. We're going to take it home. $1 million. $1 million, okay? Woohoo! Buy home for $1 million. Now we had 20% down, but what are we going to put down? What are we going to put down? Let's just put down half. Let's put down 10%, and I'll show you why in a minute. Let's put 10% down. That means your loan amount is going to be $900K, right? And your payments are going to be what?
Let's say $6,500.
$6,500 a month payments. All right? Year 2. You know why you're going to wait an extra year? Anyone remember why you got to wait an extra year to buy a second house? Because this is going to be house number 1. This is going to be house number 2. Because when you buy a home that's owner occupied, you have to occupy it for 1 year before you can count that you can buy another house that's owner occupied. Okay, it's just one of the lending rules. We're going to buy another house. Guess what? It's going to be $1 million. And this 10% down, we're going to put 20% down. We're going to put 10% down on this one. So now we're going to have a $900,000 mortgage. And how much is your payment going to be? It's probably going to be a little bit more than that because it's a different interest rate, but let's just, because it's easier, let's keep it about the same. All right, so now we have 2 payments of $6,500, right? Right? How much are you going to get for rent for this house?
Maybe $4,000 a month.
Okay, let's keep it easy. Let's keep $4,500 a month, right? So right now you're going to be losing $2K a month, right? At least from the very beginning, you're going to be losing $2K a month, right? Now let's start working out why we're going to do this sort of thing, right? So now we know our monthly payment is going to be $6,500 plus the difference here, so we're actually going to be paying $8,500 a month, right? But the reason why we're going to do this is simple. Let's take a look at this. What's the average rate of appreciation in Seattle again?
6%.
Okay, let's take a look at this. You got $1 million, got a $1 million, right? 6%, right? Means every 12 years it's going to double in value.
Correct.
Right. So in 12 years, my $1 million home is going to be worth what?
$2 million.
Simple, right? Simple math. 2 equals $2 million. How much do we owe on this home? Do you think? You know we owed $900, but we've been paying on it for 12 years. How much do we owe on it now?
Around $600,000.
$650. Oh, $650. Right? How much do we have in equity? Well, $1.350 million. What about this one? Doop, it's going to be about the same, right? $1.35 million. All right, then we're going to ask ourselves, which one do we want to live in?
Probably the one we've been living in.
Probably the one we've been living in. You don't have to worry about paying taxes for it being a rental.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We sell this one. How much we owe? We owe $650,000. We got a $1.35 million. How much do we owe on this one?
$650.
So we sell this one for $1,350,000. And we're going to pay some costs or whatever. Let's just say that in the end we get like 1.150. Right? Sell, get this number right here. How much do we owe?
$650.
So we pay off this house, and how much money do we have left over?
1.350.
We have 1 point.
Oh, 1.15.
After we get done paying those great realtors, by the way, great realtors, deserve every cent. 1.15. We pay off 650. Right. So we go 1.15 net proceeds minus 650K owed equals $500,000. So here's my deal. In 12 years, I have paid off this house. My payment, it did go up for a while. It was $2,000 more a month because I was supplementing the payment. But in 12 years, I paid off my house, and how much money do I have left over? I have $500,000 left over. Is that insane?
That is.
So, Sandy, let's talk about your situation where you're going to be making $2,000 to $3,000 a month extra payments to try to pay it off in 20 years. Which one of these seems more feasible to you? Which one seems like it's more pleasurable?
Well, the second scenario does.
Seems like it's better, huh?
Yeah.
It seems like it's much easier because when I get done, first of all, it's only 12 years instead of 20. I get 8 years of my life back, and I get $500,000 back. That's a big win. One thing I said we weren't going to talk about, but we're going to talk about, is this rent. This rent that was $4,500 a month, well, guess what? That goes up the same using the rule of 72. So in 12 years, how much is your rent going to be?
$9K.
Rent's going to be $9K a month. People go, oh my gosh, how crazy is that? Let me tell you guys, we didn't make any of this stuff up. What you should do is you should Google rule of 72. This is real. I mean, you ask your grandparents and your parents what they paid for their rent. Ask them what their first house cost them. They're going to make up crazy stuff. They're going to say $35,000 for my house, right? $12,000 for my house. These same houses these days are selling for $1 million, at least where we live, all right? So this is how you can pay off your home in 12 years. When you get done here, you have $500,000. What do you want to do with your $500,000?
I think I might buy another investment property.
Buy an investment property? What do you think?
I mean, honestly, I'd probably buy another investment property as well. I'd also go on vacation, but I'd buy an investment property after I went on vacation.
Very cool. You got a house free and clear,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. What about you, Greg?
I'm buying a condo
Cabo?
in Cabo, and so I'm going to own my $1 million house here outright, and I'm going to own my condo outright
In 12 years.
in 12 years.
12 years. Because you bought a second house for $1 million, right? What are you doing?
I would do the same. I would get me a nice condo as well.
Very cool.
I would probably do 4 different houses and put $100K down on each of those houses, and then also go on a vacation.
I like that. What I do is I'd probably buy that lake cabin. Those of you who know my wife know that she wants a lake cabin, right? I use this $500,000 and I could buy a lake cabin. I have my house paid off, so now I don't have to worry about making any payments on this. I can just pay for a lake cabin, right? $500,000 down, I could buy a $1 million one at that time, and I still only have a mortgage of $500,000. What do you think? Is it a good way to go? How can you help out your clients with this? How can you tell your clients that this is going to work out? You haven't done that before. Some of you guys have said you haven't done that before. How do you talk to your clients about this?
Well, you have to lay out the picture for them, just like we did here, right? Because you can talk through it, but if you don't show it to them, it's hard for people to grasp that. And you can tell them to Google Rule 72, and I do that kind of thing. But to sit down with a piece of paper or a whiteboard if you happen to have one, because it's better on a whiteboard, but to walk people through this scenario and just put it in front of them, you can't argue with math. That's all it is. It's just simple math. And when it's laid out like that, it helps them understand it.
So it really does. You know, it's funny, Greg. I was at a meeting and I was talking to some people about this, and they're like, "This is too good to be true. This can't be right." Michael, I mean, it's math. All it is simple math. Too good to be true. I said, "What'd your grandma buy? What'd your grandparents buy?" He said, "My grandma owns a house in I forgot where, right? I think it was in North Bend. Owns a home in North Bend." I'm like, "Get her on the phone." They call her up. I said, how much did you pay for your home? And she says, like, $22,000. Been there a long time. And I did the math. I just doubled the value every 12 years. And I said, okay, I'm not going to tell you what your home is or anything, but I'm going to say that your home right now is probably worth, $820,000, whatever it turned out, $820,000. And she says, on Zillow it says it's almost exactly that. Just using math. Just using math. So this is a real thing. You can help a lot of people. You can change a lot of lives by using the rule of 72. All right? Any last questions about this? All right. Appreciate y'all.